You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 20, How to Get Ahead in Life.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that is like a boomerang to the jugular. I'm Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
And I'm Raven Perez.
And this episode, we're going to be talking later on about the latest issue, 188. We were a little bit behind on getting the review out for 187, so we're trying to get this one out a bit faster. Try to get caught up.
We can do it.
I believe we can.
We will.
So we don't got a lot of Erik Larsen news this month, but we will get right into what we do have.
Yeah, jumping right into that, looks like there's going to be a Dragon story from 1984. It'll be printed in color for the first time.
Exciting stuff.
It is. It's a short Savage Dragon strip originally created in 1984. It's for a project that fell through. It's going to be printed in color for the first time ever as a backup feature. You're going to see that in Savage Dragon 189. And the strip was initially printed in black and white in the Savage Dragon Archives number 4, the comic miniseries published in 1999, not the recent collected editions of the same name. But,
yeah, that's funny because that always gets confused. He had that, he reprinted the mini series of the extra pages and called it, Savage Dragon Archives, and then he did those black and white kind of essential editions and called them archives. So it gets confusing.
The only confusing part is that they haven't been followed up with.
Yeah.
I think I've been waiting 5 or 6 years for those black and white archive books to continue.
Yeah, he came out with the first 2, right? And we ran up to like 50 or 50 something.
Last I heard, the issue was that some of the black backgrounds needed to be redone. And that's the last we ever heard of them.
Well, at the same time, if it's got to be a choice between the book pushing forward at a so fast we can't podcast at that rate,
right,
or we get collections of things we've read in black and white, I'll take those fast new issues.
Right. I know with this strip, you can actually read the whole thing on Erik's Facebook page.
Oh,
and I think people have asked us what his Facebook page is. I don't know off the top of my head, but if you just go to Facebook and type in Erik Larsen or Savage Dragon, you can find it.
Should be the first.
And you don't, from what I understand, I don't think he can accept friends anymore or something, but you can still follow him. Like his page is still open.
It's kind of like Art Adams doesn't have a private page at all, but you just can't be his friend because he's just got too many.
Yeah.
But it's not got a good short address. I just looked it up, and there's not some quick short address that you can say.
It's just like XYZWV117.
Yeah, it's nothing you'd want to remember from us saying. So just search for it. That's easier.
Yeah, and I think what he did was he actually had it colored 2 different ways, and I think he was the one that colored it, but he had it go for the old kind of newsprint look of like the 80s, and then he also did it in like a modern color technique.
Sweet.
And I think
the one I saw looked like newish.
Yeah, but I think he's actually going to use the oldish look like he did with that Vanguard backup strip from not too long ago. Remember that one with
the one the original Vanguard #1 story.
Yeah,
Megaton.
The Megaton one. That's cool. I think he's gonna go for that look again.
Well, I look forward to that. That's awesome.
Yep.
So the other bit of news we have comes from our friend Adam Pruitt. He's forwarding a message he got from Gary
Carlson.
Carlson. And he writes, to all my Chicagoland friends in the northwest suburbs, I will be at the Mighty Con at Pheasant Run in St. Charles, Illinois on Saturday, June 22nd. Stop by and say hi to me and my old Megaton buddy Frank Fosco. We'll be there all day Saturday. We'll be there all day Saturday only for Ninja Turtle Fest. We'll have Ninja Turtle, Night Watchman, Megaton, Big Bang Comics, and Vanguard comic books to sign and sell. So, Frank Fosco and Gary Carlson at in St. Charles, Illinois, on the 22nd.
Man, I wish I could be there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds sweet. You don't want to miss it.
Sounds like they finally got those Night Watchman books printed.
Yeah, we'll have to find out more about that.
Yeah, we'll have to find out more about those books.
Unless they're talking about the older.
I don't know if was it an older reprint? I'm honestly not sure.
They did have like Night Watchman solo issues, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be the new stuff. But I would love to like chat those guys up, in person.
Yeah.
It's too bad. I mean, they're probably, not going to be able to venture out, into like our areas of Philly or something like that because they just don't have anything really new. Maybe with the Night Watchman thing, we'll see Gary Carlson come out.
Yeah.
And do the circuit, but I think that's probably close. That's probably close to their home.
Well, yeah, that's what it sounds like is that they're going to a local con.
Yeah. I would. I have all those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle issues, but I would definitely snap up some extra ones if I. Since they're so rare, it sounds like they probably would bring a bunch with them that are really hard to get. So if you guys are in that area, the listeners out there, and you want to snap up some rare Savage Dragon issues, they'll probably have them on them. I know at one point Frank Fosco was bringing some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja. Was I saying Savage Dragon? I meant Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I know Frank was bringing some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle image trades, which are very, very rare. I think I had like the first 5 issues, which you can't really find anywhere, not even on eBay.
Yeah, they are hard to find.
I don't know if he ran out of those, but...
Man, sounds like an opportunity you just can't miss then.
Yeah. Plus the Big Bang. We hyped that up a couple of episodes ago. Big Bang Comics, and with our interview with Gary. And if he's got extra issues of those are also kind of rare. It's not like they're worth any much money or anything like that.
Well, they're just hard to find.
They're hard to find, and they're incredibly awesome.
That's the thing.
Real fun books.
They're not very expensive when you find them, but they're pretty much impossible
it's just
to find
them. Yeah, exactly. So if you can go, I would suggest it. Snap up some great books.
Sweet.
So that's our news, I guess. Kind of a small news month.
Hopefully we'll have more. Hopefully next episode we'll have solicitation info for the big 193 and details about stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and 193, that's what Erik says is supposed to be big changes in the book. So cool. So let's jump into our Savage Dragon trivia, which we've kind of made a regular segment of the show. Last episode, for episode 90, we had a guest interview with Gavin Higginbotham, so we created a trivia question about him. And the trivia question, I don't know it word for word, but it was something like, before being credited as Savage Dragon's editor, Gavin Higginbotham was previously credited in a Savage Dragon book. Name the book. And we had a few responses. I got 4 letters. First person to answer was Matt Talbot. And so he won our prize. I don't know what he's going to get yet. I got to look through the FINcast vault and find something, and we'll let him know, and we'll post it on the forums. But Matt Talbot wrote, "Hey guys, the answer to your latest trivia question is, I believe, the Savage Dragon Companion #1, which I remember because I co-designed that publication, And in a related note, I must sadly also confess that Gavin's name was misspelled on said credit page, and I will never live it down. Dope. Love the podcast, Matt Talbot. And you guys might remember Matt Talbot and Rich Woodall drew a backup in Savage Dragon, and I can't remember the issue number, but it was like the origin of Killcat, I believe, and I think it was done in like a Bob Kane style.
I think I
like
remember
old school Batman style.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And he's also had pinups. He works on a creator-owned property with Rich Woodall called Johnny Raygun, which at one time I think was supposed to cross over with Savage Dragon. It might still happen, I don't know, or if it's in limbo or whatever. But Matt's quite the inker, and we're happy that he listens. And congratulations on winning, even though he helped design the companion, so I guess he would know better than anyone.
I propose we get him a lavishly wrapped dog poop.
He might enjoy it.
It'll be lavishly wrapped.
Just to go on to lavishly wrapped.
It's in the presentation. You know? It's not much. Just
Savage Dragon comics.
Exactly. Gold foil. I was thinking, just something really fancy. It's the thought that counts.
Other guys that wrote in included John Panozzi. He said, I believe the Savage Dragon related book that Gavin worked on was the Savage Dragon Companion, which Gavin helped provide research for. We also got a letter from David Brandstetter who said, hey, this one was easy. The answer you're looking for is the Savage Dragon Companion. Gavin rocks. Gavin does indeed rock. And lastly, Gavin wrote in. He said, I love doing the Savage Dragon Companion. The guys who worked on it all got sent issues 97 to 99 via email so we could do the issue summaries before publication. Fun. So that's kind of cool to know that Erik had 3 issues done before the publication was put out. So I guess he had them all done in advance, which is pretty wild.
Including 100, which was a beast.
Yeah. So he goes on to say, can't wait for volume 2. And I know Erik is again mentioned on Facebook on one of his threads that he was indeed going to do a volume 2 companion. So be on the lookout for more news on that. And I was going to say something else, but I totally forgot.
Oh, I think you were going to talk about how we're going to do random prizes.
Oh, yes. In the past, we awarded the first person to write in the prize, and I think what we'll do from now on, I meant the first person to correctly answer the prize, get the prize, and it seems like everyone pretty much gets our trivia. So
we gotta get better at this.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do going on is we'll just everyone that answers correctly their names will get put in a hat, and we'll pick one person. That way, it won't discourage latecomers from writing in. So cool.
We finally tuned. We're gonna get this trivia thing down to where it's a well-oiled machine.
I still think it's hilarious that Gavin's name was spelled wrong in the companion.
I think
that was just like
I think
like
it's hilarious that Gavin answered that question. It's like, what is Gavin's favorite food? And you're just like, Gavin's not allowed to answer.
I think we were laughing last episode. What if Gavin got that wrong?
He will. We'll stump him. We'll stump the world one day.
We will. We definitely will. One day it's gonna be so hard. No one's gonna be able to answer.
That's it. I want to dream up the impossible trivia question. I want to get
task. That's your task, Raven.
I will. Just wait, guys. Trivia fans. One day. It's coming.
Well, speaking of possible trivia questions, what do we have for this episode, Craig?
For this episode, we're going to do something Daredevil related, but not the Daredevil from this book. Erik Larsen, the question would be, Erik Larsen drew Spider-Man and Marvel's Daredevil side by side in 2 books. Name them. So, again, Erik Larsen drew Spider-Man and Marvel's Daredevil side by side in 2 Marvel books. Can you name them? Which 2? And it's kind of a trick question in a way.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't think you can, listener.
Unless they come up with like 3 or 4 books, and then I'll feel like an idiot.
Well, then, you did.
I at
you
least
did throw
know
in
2. There might be more out there, but I think there's only 2. I've been wrong before, like the first trivia question.
So that's the trick, is you're really asking, what 2 issues am I thinking of?
Yeah, that's right. Well, if you guess more than 2 and you're correct, you will be the winner. Put it that way.
So yeah.
Anyway,
if you have a guess or you know the answer, email us at savagefincast@gmail.com. And as always, we will read your responses on the air.
Thanks, Jim, for railing me in. I'm starting to go off on tangents here. Well, should we move on to the meat of the episode?
I think there's a meaty issue to come. I think let's do it.
Savage Dragon 188. What a cover on this, huh?
Looks like Erik decided to go with beat up against my better wishes.
There was that was like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah,
he kind of threw it out there, which was asking people what they preferred, and it was this beat up cover or just like a normal kind of flat colored. Was it?
Yeah, it was this. It was the same color scheme except for it was clean.
Gotcha. And by clean, I mean like none of the fake tears or...
Right. And I preferred that version because, as I believe I've said before, when these old comics were originally published, they don't come pre-beat up. That's my job.
So you can buy it and we can fold it ourselves and...
Yes.
Rub sandpaper on it.
You know what it is? The trick is that these covers are going to actually reverse degrade. So they're going to look new in a few years.
That'd be an interesting twist on it.
Yeah.
Unless you preserve it.
Oh, you know what? This is going to be stupid, but have you guys heard what DC's doing with their 3D cover technology?
Oh yeah.
Do that.
No.
Except for one cover's clean and the other one's dirty. You just got to tilt it left and right.
So wait, what are they doing?
It's like new 3D printing technology. It's like those plastic sheets that if you turn them left and right, it looks like something's moving. Except for now, it's for 3D.
What's sad is I actually know it's called lenticular.
Lenticular.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And it's been around for a bit, but what's so funny is Jim is right 100%. For some reason, there was a recent breakthrough in lenticular printing. And the very first exposure a lot of people had to this was the Hobbit posters.
Okay.
And so when the Hobbit posters came out, now frankly, I'm sorry, if anybody remembers, when Kick-Ass came out, its movies posters were done in that lenticular style.
And this is it's paper, right? It's not like the old hard plastic ones that.
It is.
Yeah, the lenticular stuff I'm like familiar with is like the Secret Wars character shields, where it's like 2 different pictures or something when you look at it at different angles.
Yeah, I think that's the basis of the technology. But there's like been a new printing technique or a new paper technique to like make it thinner.
And it's 3D.
And it creates 3D imagery.
It's really good.
Like 3D glasses like would at the movies, that sort of thing.
If you are in Walmart and you see The Hobbit on DVD, the special editions had this exact same effect.
Yeah, I think I've seen that on Finding Nemo 3D and Monsters Inc. 3D Blu-ray covers. I think it's the same general principle.
Yep, and it looks really, really good. What's funny is that anybody would... I mean, just the new 52 is so gimmicky. It's so crazy.
It's like Marvel period 1995.
It is.
It's garbage. So you're saying garbage?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Collector's item number 1. Incinerator fodder.
Ugh.
But this cover, the logo is a throwback to Daredevil's logo.
It's Silver Street Comics, right?
That's right. And that was the reason, because this was Daredevil and the Claw's big battle. So even the logo is a throwback to Daredevil. So this is a big Daredevil issue.
Yeah, this is a huge Daredevil issue. I mean, we'll find out as we go on, but this ties up a lot of things.
Before we jump into the meat, I do want to say Josh has the fancy spelling on his last name again.
There's a word for that.
Is it
Umlau.
a umlaut?
Umlau or something like that.
I just call it the IKEA. Oh,
It's got them double dots. It's got that strange colon.
But it's weird that it wasn't on the last issue. It seems to come and go. I wonder if there's a reason, or if it's just whoever's doing the typing forgets.
More ribbing. Just one more little rib.
you said strange colon.
Oh, Lord. It's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang commentary.
Where does this come from, man? Like, was Eric just watching like the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang DVD?
It just-
I mean,
It's this exchange just feels like it's like a natural thing. It almost seems like, I don't know how Eric often says that Dragon is himself, and that a lot of what he thinks Dragon thinks, and this just seems like an everyday conversation he may have had in his own head or with somebody else, and he just decided to go, hey, teenagers talk like this.
so he's got Malcolm and Maxine talking about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
In the Q&A, he actually says that the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came from, I think him and his son were watching it, and they just realized how weird that was.
There you go. Drawn from life.
It's a great father-son movie to watch.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I honestly have never seen the movie.
I think it makes
I
Malcolm.
think I seen it a long time ago, but I don't remember.
I think it makes Malcolm a little weird for him to say it's one of his favorite movies. He is all over the map, that kid.
Can't get a read on him.
Like Speed Racer, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Well, he likes cars, so maybe that's the tie.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Moving right along, I guess.
I do like this, this opening scene where I like how Rex's laboratory is still in the same spot. If you remember, that's basically where Dragon's house used to be before it was turned to rubble.
And it's still
Isn't that
rubble.
what-
It's still like a
Yeah,
lot
it's still
full of
rubble, with just a little elevator kind of.
protruding.
Yeah.
Was the fingerprint? I feel like that was new information. I never questioned how they got down to the lab.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's new.
I think that's new. Malcolm's like, it only responds to my fingerprint. And I was like, it's cool. Just a little extra.
Well, it makes sense because he doesn't just want people wandering in.
To his outhouse, his fancy science outhouse.
Fancy science outhouse. That's what it is, basically.
That's what it is.
Should have been disguised
So-
as a porta-john the whole time.
I just like how it's in the middle of like a residential area, or at least I picture it as.
I mean, there's a house in the background of the first picture, so I assume it is.
And everyone just accepts that some crazy robot and spiky chick live,
Underground.
100 feet below them.
Probably under all of their houses because his lab goes on for a ways.
And you flip the
Love
page and
books.
badoom!
Yeah, Larson draws the best, like giant,
Monsters.
crazy, Kirby-esque monsters.
He's
Love.
just a,
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say he's just a simpleton. Like he's just a tongue and claw. He doesn't
I
seem
love-
like.
I love the little Kirby kind of fingernails he gives monsters, like the little the weird little tips to the square fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a Kirby thing. It's like it's so weird, but it's
They're
so
they're
good.
like claws, but they're not really drawn as claws, but they're claws.
Yeah, like Kirby did that all the time, and he's like the only other person I know would kind of do that, and it works. And I love how giant monsters still wear underwear.
Oh yeah, that's so great. Like the scene where he's floating off into the the zone, and he's got his little purple tidies on there.
Like his Fin Fang Foom underwear.
Monsters don't want to be indecent.
Nah. We don't want to see giant monster dong floating around Dimension X.
I love it.
So what this whole scene is about is apparently wrapping up all that stuff's been going on with Wildstar over the last
Ugh,
10 years. Apparently there's more than one of them, and there's more than one of his girlfriend. And
Skylark.
I don't know a lot about Wildstar or Skylark or Hardware, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Wildstar's series never lasted very long, and pretty much everything I know about Wildstar is his appearances in Savage Dragon.
Well,
Yep.
he had 2 series.
He did.
And the second series was more like dragon centric, I think, because I think Mighty Man or someone like appears in the second series.
And
But
remember too, he became Soul Star at one point because of a copyright
I think that's
battle.
still on the books. I think he still can't be called Wildstar on the cover. But
but even on the inside, if you look at the what do you call that the text on that inside page where it gives all the copyright,
let's see here.
they call him Michael Gabriel. That's his
there you
his
go.
real name.
They don't even use Wildstar in the copyright, so presumably.
And even in the book, Rex Dexter refers to him as Michael Gabriel.
Huh.
I am so glad you pointed that out because when he was like Michael Gabriel, I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. I mean,
It's unfortunate.
yeah.
I want to
it's
see
just-
more of these guys.
Yeah, I actually
You know-
do like Wildstar as a character.
I like him as a character, but I'm kind of. It sounds like from Eric's Q&A and stuff like that he's done on the book that he's kind of this scene is kind of just wrapping that up, getting these guys kind of out of the picture now. They're
Right.
not really owned by Eric.
Right.
They're a cool visual, but when they only appear every 20 issues or even more, probably like every 40 issues, and it's like, last time Wildstar had his own series was, 15
1990
years
something.
or more. Yeah, it's like you lose track about what he's all about, and it just gets hard to follow. And I think, we were talking a little bit before we started recording, and we can talk more about it, but I think we're all pretty confused about, where all these characters stand and their doppelgangers. And
Right.
it's just, even as hardcore Savage Dragon fans as we are, it's still very confusing. So imagine, somebody that's only 20 issues into the series or something
You're
coming
right.
upon these characters. It's like, it's just, I don't know.
It's good house cleaning.
Yeah. I'm happy to see him go in a way. They've kind of
Yeah.
fit their need in the story. Malcolm had that flashback with Wildstar. What did we say? What issue was that? But
That ended up being like issue. I got it right here. It's issue 166.
yeah, which was a major plot point in the series, and that's wrapped up. I think it's time to say goodbye to these guys.
Yeah. Almost.
They're not owned by Eric. He can't really do what he wants with them. So
Right.
And that really was, I think, the jump from 77 to like, I mean, I'm sure he popped up at some point, but like those are the significant issues. 77, 166, they're hugely apart. So, yeah, it's good to see these guys sort of exit the book.
And they're getting even more complicated because we're getting like multiple versions in this book. So we have like the guys, the characters from the Image universe, which helped save Malcolm and a bunch of the kids and threw them into Dimension X, and they got trapped in Dimension X as well. And then you had the Savage World version of Wildstar, and now we have duplicates. I think one of the panels here you see Skylark kind of absorb herself, but it's not really clear.
I think
And-
she there are two of them, and they merged together to become one. I'm not really sure what her powers are, but the way she talks.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, like her series came out like 15, 20. Well, the Wildstar series came out so long ago. It's like, how do you expect people to remember what these characters do? And it's like, you gotta do some research. It's a lot of work. But
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to. It's funny because I think it's become apparent that there is a very unlike a lot of comics where it's like just a hard like continuity reboot. The world blows up, and now we're in a new dimension where everything's close. This book's going through sort of a very organic, realistic kind of a reboot where loose ends are being tied up left and right. Characters are sort of being like, okay, my business is done. Let's leave Chicago. So
we see that a lot this episode, this issue too, and we'll talk about it as we go. But there's a ton of that happening, and it kind of you can tell that there's going to be a major change coming up because you see Eric tying up all these plots and characters.
Well, right after Wildstar and his gang take off, Rex and Hortus drop a bombshell that they're going to be joining SOS and moving to Washington.
Like a lot of people.
Yeah, so right now, who do we have on the SOS? We have
Angel.
Super Patriot, Angel, Rex, and Hortus.
And that's all the ones we know.
Yeah, and then
we'll
I
find
think,
out. We'll speculate a bit more in this issue.
yeah, right.
But
So the whole reason Malcolm's come down to see Rex is because Rex, of course, he fought in World War II and is considered a quote-unquote Golden Age hero in the context of the book. So
Mhm.
Malcolm comes asking for advice about the Claw, but apparently Rex didn't really encounter him very much during his time as a superhero. So, yeah.
And he's real matter of fact about it anyway. He's like, we'll fight him if he comes back, but nah, I don't really know anything, and that's not my priority right now.
Right.
It's so funny
Rex
because
is such a douche.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. He always is like that.
He's like,
Erik always keeps him in character like that, which is kind of cool. But he always is like, it's not good for him. Then forget it.
yeah, even when he was human, he was like this. He was always like, I need you to do this for me, but I don't really care about anything that's going on with you.
He's just. It's funny. He's got a good characterization. He's just like a super nerd scientist that's not very social. He doesn't know how to interact with people. He doesn't know how to help people out. He's just kind of a big egghead. It
That's
seems like.
probably why he gets along with Hortius so smashingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a great couple.
A couple of introverts found each other,
They have sex.
of which Hortius tends to remind us of constantly.
It's fantastic. Nah, but so they're pretty much gone. And then the next page, boom, little wise guys.
Yeah.
So what were they hunting for? They're looking around for the Claw, right? They're trying to get a beat on what the Claw's up to, and they start dropping like flies, getting picked off one by one until only it's PJ. No, yeah, is it PJ?
Yeah, PJ.
PJ is
Yep.
left.
The newest little wise guy.
Right.
Whatever happened to Darnell Washington?
Darnell.
Remember that was it was like Malcolm, PJ, and Darnell were like friends, and then Darnell just kind of disappeared.
Which one was Darnell? Darnell wasn't.
He was just kind of like the normal looking teen kind of. He was just like a tall dude with a afro.
Oh yeah, I don't really remember.
Remember they played basketball against the Little Wise Guys in one issue.
That's
and stuff
right.
Like that. But for the first, when you first saw PJ, it was just like him, Malcolm, and Darnell, and then like that Darnell character just kind of disappeared, and PJ joined the Little Wise Guys. Anyway,
I like to think he's in a better place. And by that, I mean I hope he died.
in the alien invasion.
That's exactly what I was thinking. If the spoon can't survive the alien invasion.
Hey,
Well-
remember like a couple of almost like 4 or 5 episodes ago when I couldn't remember what the tall little wise guy's name was, and I was calling him Hayseed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently his name's Scarecrow, so I wasn't that far off.
Hayseed.
Hayseed is good though. So yeah, only PJ is left, and then you flip the page, and the verdict is dropped. Savage Dragon is pronounced guilty and sentenced to death.
Hooray! Oh wait,
Well, we
I
get
love-
a John Day cameo in the background too.
And Judge Coffin. Love that sinister, unchanging face.
Every panel of Judge Coffin is the same exact stat panel.
Sees no reason to reduce the sentence. Death.
Now, the next two pages are pretty awesome, and for the reader, it all depends. And maybe Jim, you can kind of clue us in. You read this digitally, right?
I did, yes, and it was not presented as a 2-page spread in my edition. But I presume that it has the Claw's face facing Daredevil's face.
Yeah, which I thought was totally awesome.
See, unfortunately,
awesome.
In my edition, it was broken up into 2 separate pages. So I see the Claw's face and his talking, and then I turn the page and I see Daredevil's face and his interaction with Malcolm. And on one hand, that works okay, but it definitely would have probably been a better idea to present it as a 2-page spread.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, because they're really not talking to each other, but when you open it up, it looks like they're facing off against each other. And
Exactly.
it's so cool because on the printed book, Daredevil's face is almost like what a full size face would be.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty damn awesome. I don't think I've ever seen that done in comics. I mean,
It's
maybe it's
sweet.
been done. I don't know, but maybe
It's-
Larsen's homaging something. But if not, it's a pretty cool concept.
It's definitely awesome because, like, with these 2 pages, like, just overall, they are setting things up for these 2 characters to clash. So the
Yeah.
fact that, like, the page where it's like the Claw doing all his setup, and then the next page is like Daredevil getting news, and he's deciding he's going to do something. It's awesome to have these 2 like opposite of each other, and like you said, you flip the page and they're facing off. It's sweet. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's all the bad guys on one page, and the same exact panel scheme, and all the good guys on the other page, but their 2 heads are facing each other. And I like how the Claws page has kind of got like the hot colors, like the yellows and orange and yellows, and the Daredevil page has got the cool colors like the blues and purples.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just it's just set up really cool.
Speaking
It's
of
an
coloring,
awesome layout.
we didn't really talk about this yet, but apparently this issue is a sort of a color experiment, like the previous issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems much more, colorful.
I would say that the Claw himself is the easiest thing to see the difference in because whatever they did, whether it's like a spot color or something like that, he seems so much more vibrant in this issue than he has in any of the other issues.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like really vibrant.
Yeah, it's just, it seems just like they've kind of pulled back a little bit on all the color effects. You don't get any flares or anything like that.
Right. What seems to be going on is they're flatting the backgrounds, but they're detailing the foreground characters, which
Maybe that's it.
sort of making them pop a little bit more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't noticed till you said that, but I think you're right on the money.
Yeah, I think you are right.
Yeah, that's a good observation because I was kind of like wondering what the experiment was. But yeah, I think you're 100% right.
So you're saying all the foreground characters
Are colored, normally, but the backgrounds are kept a little bit more solid color.
flat. Yeah.
Which
they're
means
all
the
flat now.
foreground characters, the important stuff, is popping right off the page at you.
That is
Looks good.
that is a damn fine observation.
Yeah, I agree. I like it.
I think it worked. I really like the way this issue looked.
So we get to see those the creatures of the Claw has been growing, and they're winged devil creatures.
With a single horn. I love it. Right in them, like a unicorn horn.
Yeah.
And they got
Pretty
little
wild.
striped shorts.
I don't know. Who makes all this shorts?
Probably Thunderhead.
So faster, you fool! And it's like, I don't know if it's such a good idea. Shut up!
Yeah, I like how they need to put clothes on them too. It's just you just made this army of mutants. Who cares if they're naked? They're just gonna attack things.
And it's beautifully simpleton. I mean, the Claw's plans never get complex. Grow an army of mutants, attack.
Just kill Daredevil at least.
Because Daredevil is the most important obstacle in his way. There's nobody else.
Ah, lordy. The main thing to take away from the Daredevil half of this equation is that PJ makes his way over to tell Malcolm that the little wise guys are gone. They're missing.
And Daredevil's he is so sure the Claw is responsible.
That's right.
Nobody else.
And at the same time, Malcolm gets a call telling him that the Claw's coming. He's on his way.
Daredevil's all, what?
Yeah, I love that that's his lone conch. Whoo! He's a fool.
But then we get to the actual situation of the little wise guys, and things aren't great.
That was a messed up page, man. I was not expecting that.
If I remember correctly, the little wise guys were captured by Dart previously, and she hung them upside down over something, but Daredevil came along and saved them. But
She at least killed one of them at one point.
well, no, she
Jock.
killed two of them definitely. I believe we saw her grind one up, and then another one disappeared off panel, and was referred to.
Really?
I
I thought it was just one.
I
but-
think that was what happened.
I only know of the one because the one died so gruesomely.
Right,
He was Jock.
right.
Yeah,
Maybe you're right. For some reason, I thought she killed two. I thought there were
who
five.
was actually a nerd.
Right, the nerdy one.
Oh, I didn't
The
even
short
realize
pants.
that the nerdy kid was named Jock.
I got to be honest, I did not see this coming.
What?
I mean,
Hercules?
I didn't see Erik just slaughtering all the wise guys. And it's kind of funny. I remember for a while, like, around, like, between, I don't know, it seemed like issue 120 to 130 when Erik almost tried to make Savage Dragon, like, a kid-friendly book.
No, that was even earlier. That was like 101
Was it?
through like 108. I think I did a read through once.
I don't know.
That was during the Fantastic Four-ish era, and I discovered that basically the issue where Dart gets her head punched off by Mako was basically the end of that, and that was that was like issue 108, I think.
No.
So it was a very
I don't
short
know.
period of
It
time.
just seemed
in
like,
retrospect.
there was like the Santa Claus issue, and there was like, it was like, what is going on? And then just to see like panels like this where he just basically takes children and just lops their heads off, it's just awesome.
Yeah, but they're like
fantastic.
90 years old. It's okay.
That's one way. I hadn't realized it, but that's one way to look at it. These aren't exactly kids we're seeing getting slaughtered here. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love Dart more as a villain than as a hero.
Oh yeah, Allison is absurdly cool when she's like crazy.
I think she kind of sucks as a hero, but like for some reason, just being evil. And is that the God Sword?
Oh yeah, she's had that
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah.
See, so now she's probably immortal, has the God Sword. She's like stepping up, as a badass.
I think she needs a new costume now.
Yeah.
I think new costume's in order. New villain costume.
Dark Dart.
That's one thing, it seems like Erik does, he's done almost every kind of comic thing, that's been done, but he doesn't really do costume redesigns.
A bold
You know what I'm
new
saying?
look.
Yeah, you got like Invincible's got a new. I mean, Dragon doesn't have a costume, but other characters, you don't see any of his other major characters get a. Unless I'm forgetting something, but I don't think he's really gone that route and given like a long-standing character a redesign,
I think
even
you're
if
right.
it is temporary.
I think it's usually subtle, like when Star had long hair and then it all got burnt off.
That's true, yeah.
It's always usually subtle stuff.
But I think that in terms of the Star thing was like Star was a new character and the look just wasn't working for Erik and
Right.
didn't like it.
Well,
But in
don't forget,
terms of like, go ahead.
when Savage World kicked off, Mighty Man got his Golden Age logo back because all the
That's true.
backstory,
Yep.
all the backstory that brought about the new logo went away.
That's true. Yep. But you didn't see like maybe Super Patriot. I mean, you look at the Marvel characters. How many redesigns Captain America has had?
Right.
They eventually goes back to his original, or Spider-Man or Iron Man or whatever. I guess Rex Dexter in a way you could say he's kind of had a few mutations and stuff like that.
Mostly his head changes.
But Erik really, overall, I guess what I'm trying to say is Erik really hasn't done much in that kind of.
Yeah, he doesn't really change his character designs that often.
So we nominate Dart, right? Like we totally
Yes,
want to see her
yes.
evil.
Yes, I want to see Evil Dart.
And
Give
can
her a
I
new
just
little
say,
headpiece.
from the, I love that it's a little triangle with a dart on it.
What, her headpiece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say that on a coloring thing, the fact that they colored that one little wise guy that's getting stabbed in the neck, they colored his eyes the way they did in that panel. Did
Right.
that just seem to make it worse?
It did. Yes.
It freaks me out.
Yeah. He's like, oh!
I don't like looking at it. It scares me. The red eyes.
You're getting a god sword in the throat, buddy.
Ugh.
Nah, it's awesome though, and I guess Malcolm runs to the Rockhouse Diner to be like, "Hey, bro, you gotta come save the world.
Again.
The claw's coming, bro."
Well, what Malcolm says here is you're the last one I can turn to. Rita has a concussion and the rest are all gone. That's really suggesting that everyone's gone. Everyone's
understand.
all the
I mean, why is
superheroes.
it- Why doesn't he just call the SOS and they fly over?
Those
and let him
guys,
do
they get murdered by like any Joker that rolls around.
whatever.
Well, they might also remember they're talking about training. Maybe the SOS is like not those Avengers haven't assembled yet. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right,
Yeah,
they all got
yeah.
slaughtered by Kurt. I mean, they're down to like 3 dudes and a bunch of trainees.
Yeah,
That's true.
maybe they're not really something to be called on.
I mean,
Otherwise, I think they would have been showing up by now for things like when All God showed up. It was the Air Force that took him out, not like a team of anyone.
Yeah. I like how Malcolm's like, I called the Air Force. And I just picture him like, hello? Air Force? This is Malcolm.
Yeah.
Who calls the Air Force?
I got him on speed dial.
Like, how do you even know where to call the Air Force? I guess he's been in a situation as a superhero is the only...
Only thing I can think of, yeah.
Rock insinuates here, though, that seems like everybody wants me to be a superhero these days, so it's kind of, with that little bit of dialogue loaded, you can assume he's going to the SOS.
Who, Rock?
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we'll get to that next, but with the claw attacks, of course, and it's down to apparently Malcolm, Daredevil, Rock, and Widow.
That's not the
Oh,
super team you want.
Before you get to that,
Oh, no?
it seems as if John Day,
Makes a
after
reappearance.
going to the trial, likes to stop at the diner for a burger.
Oh, yep, there he is. Is he in the same clothes? Let me check real quick.
I don't know.
It is. No, well, maybe. Tie and checkered
Yeah.
shirt.
Sure.
I sure do hate that Dragon got that death sentence. Think I'll go get a burger.
Two John Day appearances in one issue. We're being rewarded here, folks.
We went from nothing to like, it's from feast to famine, that's all. So this is a feast. Enjoy it.
So anyway, were you guys talking about this double page spread?
Spread, yes.
The
Just
punch you in the
awesome.
mouth, awesome.
Look at
That
those
is a-
poppin' colors.
That is an awesome spread. That's all. It's freaking sick. And I love that lady's tights in the lower left-hand corner.
I was just noticing that. There's a lot of detail in those tights.
They're lavish.
Did you guys notice that Eric actually drew a car that wasn't like box shaped?
There's a few cars on that.
Oh,
You got your box car in front of it and a bus behind that.
and your circle headlights. Yeah,
That's the new model.
It's a Porsche.
yeah.
Now this is a badass page, though. I mean,
Wow, he's like, his leg, the claw's leg is like behind buildings. So he's like taller than buildings.
he is fucking huge. This is like Godzilla attacks.
Where's Osama bin Laden when you need him?
You just can't believe that this guy fought Daredevil. It's all like, he's so much more awesome than Daredevil.
Yeah. Daredevil was just like a man with a special, extra training or something.
Yeah, he's a jungle orphan.
He's got some angel blood in him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that.
I do like how when the Air Force attacks him, it actually hurts him.
Yeah, because the Air
So
Force.
even though he's huge, he still gets hurt.
Well, the Air Force in like Savage Dragon's world, I was thinking about that when they're like, oh, the claw can grow. And, we saw them blow the shit out of All God.
That's true.
So they're kind of like, and Osama bin Laden. So I was thinking that the Air Force was going to be, blowing the claw up. But no, they could only hurt him.
At least these
good
planes look a little bit more like planes.
Yeah.
The big thing is that the claw was betrayed. He realizes it, The Air Force here already?
He's chasing Thunderhead, squishes him.
Yeah, that. Yeah, the Thunderhead gets. Oh yeah, you're talking about Thunderhead betraying. Yeah, he was
Oh,
the one who made the cell phone call. Apparently, the Claw didn't take into account cell service in his master plan.
Yeah, choom.
Thunderhead just cannot catch a break.
You get that great panel of Widow shooting a web out of her butt into like one of the mutants' face. Always a great gag.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately, the diner's getting wrecked again, which sucks because I love the Rock House Diner.
I think the Rockhouse Diner has been decimated at least like 10 times.
it's worse than the X Mansion at this point.
Yeah.
I got a little bit worried when the Claw, built up his I-beams here in the last page. I was terrified about turning the next page.
Oh yeah.
Because you know how that goes.
I thought someone's
Right.
ass was grass.
I thought Malcolm was going to get cut in half or something.
Quite the opposite, chum.
Yeah, apparently, for once.
How did you guys feel about this? I was pretty shocked. I
thought it
mean,
was
you
pretty
turn the page.
It was pretty sudden, and this kind of falls back on I think Erik Larsen may overstate how sharp metal objects are.
There's always been
Yeah.
that thing about cutting force has the ability to penetrate, whereas like bullets don't.
Yeah,
Like Dragon's toughness was described as bullets aren't going to penetrate him, but a hard stab with a knife will go right into his skin.
yeah, which
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, Claw gets decapitated with a boomerang. Now, like I said, Daredevil has enhanced strength now because he got a blood transfusion from Angel Dragon, so he's a little bit stronger than he used to be. But this still seems exceedingly over the top.
I loved it.
I mean, it's great that the claw is gone because, frankly, I'm glad. But it just does seem pretty easy, I guess, at the end of the day.
I was pretty shocked about how quick Claw's kind of put to rest. I thought, I'm kind of glad in a way. I thought Claw's kind of a cool character, but at the same time, I mean, I feel almost the same way about Daredevil. I'm not the biggest fan of, other characters brought into this book, not Erik's, because I feel like Erik feels the need to kind of keep them in their mold, and I don't know. The Claw was a funny character. I didn't take him too seriously.
He's kind of one note, is what he is.
Yeah, but I just feel like I like it when Erik builds things up. When we had like the Fiend, and it would be kind of lurking in the shadows for like 20 issues, then come out strong, and it would be like this huge, this big arc. Or, when Dark Lord first came out, it's like I kind of long for that character again, that like bad guy that takes a little while to build up, but then when he comes out, he's like a major force. And I thought maybe the Claw would be that way, but it was like as soon as the Claw came out, he's done now. And it was like, that's it.
Let's just hope that Dart doesn't get decapitated anytime soon.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't think you're going to take Dart out with a boomerang. She's too much of a ninja.
Yeah.
But I think Dart is sort of being built up to be what you want
Oh yeah,
in many
definitely.
respects. If
The whole
only-
time
if-
I was like, yeah.
I'm definitely hoping there's a payoff on Dart, that she becomes a threat, a serious threat for a period of time.
Mhm.
It isn't stopped with a single blow, as seems to happen sometimes.
The Claw, though,
Yeah.
thing with him, his death was awesome because it was kind of surprising
Right.
and everything. And I feel like you guys, where it was like, as awesome as he was kind of like a guy without much of a future unless he grew and changed, Like, he would have to change from what he is. Like, the whole thing, they were like, oh, it's just, the world's not that simple. You just can't be that simple. And boom. He learns real hard here that he can't be the simpleton that just wants to go and attack Chicago with an army of mutants.
Right. It's not. It takes more than that. It takes a little bit of subtlety.
Yeah.
What I get out of like Savage Dragon is that this is just basically Erik having fun, doing what he wants, how he wants to do it, and we're just along for the ride. But I kind of feel like with Daredevil, I could be totally wrong on this, but the feeling I get with Daredevil and the Claw is that at one point Erik really got into Golden Age comics, and
Right.
he liked Daredevil and the Claw, and he's like, I want to play around with these guys, he just liked them so much he wanted to play around with them, and he wanted to give it his own kind of closure on the story, and just throw it in Savage Dragon and make it happen, because that's he wasn't going to start a new comic with them. I don't know if that would really sell, but I think he's just doing what is fun to him. It's just like I said, he probably got into that phase where it seemed like he got into Golden Age comics pretty hardcore, and
Right.
it's like, hey,
And And now it's just come to the end of its run. Now he's said what he wanted to say, and now he's moving on.
Yeah, he had fun playing with the characters. He'll probably keep Daredevil along as just a SOS guy in the background. I mean, the little wise guys got killed off. There's closure here with the Claw. Erik had fun playing with him. It's run its course, like you said, and let's move on. But
it's a good way to push Daredevil from his Golden Age roots into more modern stories, is to sort of eliminate all ties to the past like that.
That's true. That's a good thought. Be interesting to see if much more happens with Daredevil now that he's also out of the picture.
Yeah, you're right.
Because Daredevil decides at the end here that he's going to go off and join SOS.
Yeah, and I also want to add, even Rock is like, there's no way we can afford to rebuild. So...
What, never didn't pay your business insurance, Rock?
Who would insure him at this point?
It's got to be tough being a super freak in Chicago.
Yes, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go.
Who, Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, my suspicion is Rock and Widow are going to go join SOS as well as their only option.
Yeah.
Because if they can't rebuild again, they don't have a lot of options.
Which is cool, because then that gives you like a superhero team full of, the rest of the, the remaining kind of major heroes.
Right. And what it also does is leaves Malcolm all alone in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm thinking is what the 193 soft jumping on point is going to be all about, is Malcolm versus all of Chicago by himself. I'm beginning to think that may be more of what things are moving towards, is that, Malcolm on his own.
I feel like that's where it's going, and it's kind of cool that, like I said, it's not happening in a giant cataclysmic Galactus eats the world fireball. It's just that everyone has their organic reasons to leave.
Yeah, definitely.
Malcolm's still got what? Is he still in high school?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's still got high school to go, 2 years, right?
Something like that, I think, yeah.
Also, just quick on Daredevil, he is one serious deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
He took PJ under his wing, and now he's just walking away.
Yeah. Sorry, kid, you're immortal. Bye. You're Gary. You're the new Gary Coleman.
How about this page where they flash to Dragon in jail? I think this is my favorite page in the book.
Yeah.
Dragon staring down all the prisoners.
Yeah, you get this one kind of freak guy. It's like, hey, Savage Dragon, here he is. Heard you got yourself a death sentence. He's like, we want to move up your execution date. And, Dragon just kind of stares him in the eye. I'm going to say this once. The only reason you're alive is because I decided to let you live. Don't change my mind. And the face on the guy is priceless. He's just like, fudge. The guy just seriously crapped his pants.
You could just take a marker and write "poot" as a sound effect underneath it. It's the exact same thing, yeah.
So, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that's a great scene. That's basically that's Dragon's I'm not locked up in here with you, you're locked up here with me moment.
Yeah. I love when Larsen does kind of a close-up, detailed shot of Dragon's face and stuff. It just looks cool as hell.
And he's grizzled these days, so there's even more reason for there to be lines in his face.
Yep. And we talked about the last page, kind of Malcolm going off on his own. He IDs the corpses of the little wise guys and abandons PJ, and Malcolm is just like, I'm out.
I'm going to go bang your sister.
Exactly. Washington, eh?
And we got no backup this issue, but we got like 7 pages of letters, which is cool. I like backups, but it's cool to see that a lot of people are writing in.
There was a tiny.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Tiny. So to me, I was very happy because you get that tiny little Toastus Pies backup, and if you really don't read the letter columns, make it your toilet reading, because for the love of God, there's gold in these pages, like the Mr. Glum theme song.
Yeah. I just like Gavin's email and
Yeah, did
Benny
you read
Hass's
Gavin's
email.
letter? Because I'm reading it right now.
And it's just like answer, like I think it's hilarious that Erik actually like
Answered?
it gives in and gives names and thinks of names for all of these guys
A
that
lot of
have
good.
like showed up for like a half a panel.
Harry
know what?
Hyman,
I didn't read that one. My God, fantastic.
inventor of the Dragon Slayers.
Do you know the scientist who's looking into Dragon's origin and is later killed off by the Tyranians is Dilbert Dusseldorf?
Charlie Braun. Good grief. Love it. Love it. Brenda Funk.
So we did sort of get a backup. There's a comic on the back of the comic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what Raven was talking about, the Toastus pie.
Toastus pies, diplomacy.
Poor Obama. You know what he needs? Toastus pies. I
And
really
that's
big ups to the artist and the colorist on that backup. I mean, you know, that's the bomb. You guys did good.
that's Scott James. He did a backup in Savage Dragon. What's his name? And then an Alex backup, right?
Yeah, that's the one where Alex was alone, going to save Angel or something, or Angel backed her up or something. I think of the right one. I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah, he's a great artist. I like his stuff. It complements Larsen's style, but it's very much his own. But
He gets the
he
fin
draws,
right.
yeah, he draws a badass dragon. Anyone that can get dragon pretty decently done is okay in my book, with a large kind of upper body and the small legs and the fin done right. It's pretty much
All you need,
good stuff.
really.
Yeah.
Also, the Toastus Pies mascot, he looks like Powdered Toast Man's head.
He does a little bit.
Powdered toast man.
Exactly. And as a bonus, Invisible Sam, the unremarkable man on the back.
Oh, it's Adams.
That's
That-
right.
Yeah, Adam stuff.
Oh, that's Adam by Adam Purett and David Seltzer.
So this
Seltzer.
issue is just choked with goodness. Choked with it.
There was a lot of stuff to chew on this issue.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things going on. But we're gonna bring back a little feature we haven't done in a while: the retro reviews. Just real quick, we're gonna talk about Savage Dragon 148, which was the first appearance of the Little Wise Guys. We figure we'll give them a send off by seeing where they began.
First and last.
And 148 actually was kind of like an introduction to Daredevil.
And if I remember correctly, this was given away as a free comic book day issue, right?
It
It was
was.
free comic book day 2009, I believe.
And
4 years ago already.
Yeah, the free comic book edition only had the main story, didn't have any backups or extras. But you did get the full 20-page story, which was a really good deal. And I believe it came out the week it was the comic was supposed to come out, right? So it was like the regular issue.
It was. I got both.
I
Yes.
unfortunately did not get the free one. I only got the paid one.
Yeah. They're the same. I mean, I think the free one didn't have the backups. I want to say. No, wait.
Yeah.
I'm thinking am
Probably
I
had
wrong?
image ads on the back cover or
I
something.
feel like, yeah, there was some compromise. I feel like with the real issue, you got the backups and the Charles Atlas and then the Daredevil ad and stuff. And I feel like on the
Yeah.
free one, maybe you didn't get that stuff. But
Yeah.
enough about that.
So this issue was, I believe, a few issues after the Golden Age heroes had been freed from Solar Man, after Solar Man had been killed.
Yeah, they were like in suspended animation in some kind of like orb thing or something, right?
Right, and that's where Daredevil and the Little Wise Guys were throughout the ever since their disappearance in the Golden Age.
You know, I actually thought we'd see a lot more Golden Age characters after that happened.
Well, we
than
get we get a few, but we don't see a lot of them.
We see like Silver Streak, I think, at one point. in
Yeah,
the
he
book,
visits Malcolm in the hospital.
but we really don't see like a lot of the guys.
No, that's true.
You get the idea that maybe they're not in Chicago, even.
That's true. Maybe
Because
that's
they are never around.
yeah. Yeah, because you'd figure, any kind of big crisis, they would all come. But yeah, you're probably right. They're probably not. They're probably spread all out now. It would make sense.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I love the Daredevil logo.
Oh yeah.
And I'm probably skipping ahead. Maybe I should just this book kind of you get the first 4 pages of just kind of like flashbacks, like is it Dragon writing his book or something? And I don't know if it's supposed to be text from his book, because at one point didn't he write a book on his life?
Wait a minute. You're talking about our story thus far?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're reading the Free Comic Book Day issue, right? Is it at the beginning of the book?
Yeah.
Because in the pay one, it's reprinted in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, our story thus far is a backup. Yeah, I'm reading the pay one, and that is just like Jim said, in the back after the letter column.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Before Etherian.
Huh.
Well, that's cool. That was meant to bring Free Comic Day people into the Savage Dragon fold.
Yeah, and this is actually...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's a really good recap, in my opinion. It really brings it together clearly, I think.
Right, yeah. And it kind of just glosses over some unimportant details.
It completely glosses over the Savage World details.
Yeah, it just kind of makes you think it's like one continuous story, which is cool. Sometimes I like to think that's what happened. But anyway, it gives you, in the free book, I guess that comes first, and it kind of gives the new reader kind of a recap on everything. But then we jump into the story, and I have to admit, I love the Daredevil logo.
Oh, yeah.
And
awesome.
I guess you can't use it on the cover anymore because of Marvel's Daredevil, but I think it's an awesome looking logo.
Yeah, it's all thick and like not straight.
It's kind of like cartoony, like it kind of makes you think of like Captain Marvel type.
Which Daredevil kind of, according to everything Erik says, was a book that became more about the little wise guys anyway. So you got to think little kids were probably the audience for that mostly. So it makes sense that his logo would be like, wah, wah, wah,
Definitely.
That guy on the double page spread has a wicked cauliflower ear.
Yeah. Are those Uglies Unlimited or whatever that group was? This is such a weird time in the book. I feel like the direction during this time was a little off.
Yeah. I feel a little confused because for some reason during this time period, I thought all the double page spreads were done in like boxes, and that this is a full bleed. So my memories aren't very clear on what style he was going for at this period.
Yeah, I never got the whole Uglies Unlimited thing and the Freak Out thing. Do you guys remember that?
Well, that was all during Back in Blue. I believe this is part of the initial Back in Blue arc, right?
Yeah.
I want to say the issue before is when this might be the second issue after Back in Blue.
Yeah, I think so.
But during that, it's kind of a setup to when Dragon gets killed, or gets replaced by Virus at least, or Kerr's return. That's all. That's all what this period is all about. Getting Kerr's return set up.
Right. But I mean, what? How did the whole Uglies Unlimited thing resolve itself?
Wait, I thought Uglies Unlimited was just a band of butt ugly looking guys that Dragon randomly fights sometimes.
I know, but I'm just saying, what happened to that? I thought it all had to do with that Freak Out stuff.
Well, it might have been. I think Freak Out was put in like the water supply or something.
Right. Yeah.
And it shook out that she-dragon basically got mutated, and Kerr beat her up, and she reverted back and blew the lid off it or something.
Yeah, I think it wrapped up, but like it wasn't a huge event or anything.
Yeah,
it seemed like it started off big and it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, it was like a background detail of all the other stuff going on in some respects.
Yeah.
On a coloring note, too, I will say it's funny for us to jump from the 188 to this one. because you can see here in 148 very much there's a lot of the use of screen and
Right.
like the lens flare, especially here. I'm looking at the pages of Daredevil and Dragon in the bar, and you can see the way the lighting is like lighting up sort of the like smoky bar colors and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really cool, like the difference. And the glasses have color holds on them, which is where the
Hmm.
line work gets colored, like kind
Yep,
of
yep, yep,
Disney style. So it's
yep.
funny if you really want a stark contrast between like color experiments, like when the little wise guys showed up to like, you know, when they died. It's this huge difference there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. This whole issue is pretty much Dragon getting to know Daredevil, and that scene's funny. You talk about it. They're in the bar, and I think Daredevil's drinking like milk or something, and Dragon's telling him how the bad guys are a lot worse now than they were in his day, and he's like, nastier than the Nazis. I doubt that. And he's like, I fought Hitler. Daredevil's like, I fought Hitler. Remember? And then Dragon's like, yeah, I fought him too. I wasn't impressed, and because he fought Brainy Ape.
It's a great conversation just between the two of them there.
Right.
Oh yeah, but I just didn't even realize he's actually literally introducing the little wise guys on that page. And he's like, remember when I said there were 5 of us? Ha ha ha. Oh, this is good milk. Golly. And then you flip the page and bam.
Yeah, bam. But I guess you guys are right, because there are only 4 little wise guys.
There's Jock. Jock the nerd.
Jock's the one who got
Scarecrow,
shoved
Pee-wee,
down a
Curly,
garbage
and
disposal.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at his shorts.
Can I tell you guys that I'm so glad these little wise guys are gone? I never liked them.
The minute I saw them, I was like, they are going to die horribly, and I'm going to love it.
Little did you know it only, took, 40 issues or something?
Well, I think Jock dies in like the next 2.
Yeah. I never caught on to the little wise guys. Like I said, I think Erik was just got into Golden Age comics and wanted to play around with the characters. But
he wanted his Newsboy Legion.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the inclusion of their blood giving you somewhat immortality in a book where death really does matter, I think that they did important things for the book. But I feel also too, and I'm pretty sure that he said it in the Russ Burlingame Q&A, that in the original issues of Daredevil, the little wise guys ended up pushing Daredevil to the background.
Right.
And he said he felt like the exact same thing happened in Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why they got the axe.
Literally.
Oh yeah, literally. I was not trying to be clever.
Or sword, got the sword. I think this issue too is kind of like our first taste of Dart.
Well, that's I was
as
about
a villain.
I was about to say something. This is coincidentally, I don't know if that was intentional, but this is the first issue that Allison makes her appearance as the new Dart, or at least is established that she is the new Dart.
And she's evil as shit.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the situation. Angel and Malcolm, who is skinny-armed Malcolm, which I will always love, they have been kidnapped by the new Dart. They're probably lucky they didn't get decapitated.
They weren't looking in a good way. I mean, they were, they was ready to go almost. In this issue, you get to see, it's funny, you get to see, isn't Allison babysitting?
There's a flashback there. Apparently she's babysitting Savage World Angel because this is after Jennifer died.
Oh, and we've seen that in old issues. Back in the early issues of Dragon, she made an appearance as a babysitter before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
even back in the Image universe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I like this issue. We don't have to go page by page, but it's it's a lot of pages just kind of Daredevil and Dragon looking for his kids and just flying around the city, and like just for like a good 3 or 4 pages, it's just like Daredevil bouncing all around, swinging. He's upside down. He's like, just doing all these different somersaults and stuff. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, where Dragon is just sort of running and jumping.
Just running behind him, and Daredevil's just, I don't know.
He's very
Just flipping
Spider-Man-esque looking.
Yeah.
I find it funny that the little wise guys in this scene are they're wandering around in like the worst part of like Chicago,
Yeah.
and
Looking like they came out of the Depression.
Yeah.
and they even get picked off one by one the same way that Dart gets them in the most
That's
recent
true.
issue.
There's a lot of callbacks.
It almost seems like it's intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I think like right away it was established that these guys weren't gonna have a good time because they were just, you talk about like men at a time, Daredevil drinking milk in a bar. I mean,
They're just so out of touch.
yeah.
Well, it's funny. Let's go back to the callback. So, and the same thing's happening here, where Daredevil's like, if anyone can find your kids, it's the little wise guys. And the issue in 188, which we just talked about, it's the little wise guys kind of snooping around looking for the claw. So you got that, like you said, they all get picked off, like in 188.
I feel like they were doing
Dart again.
It is funny. There are a lot of parallels between their first appearance here and their last appearance.
Yeah.
Big time.
My all-time favorite thing about this book is the Vicious Circle characters that appear.
You mean Chaos and Control?
Chaos and Control. I think this is the last time we've seen him. I don't think he's appeared since.
Oh, yeah. Good.
And then we get a couple of new guys, and they look really awesome.
The chick with the giant V for a head is the best.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Z looking one.
I like the guy with the big swollen lips, Pucker.
Is it got a name?
Yeah.
Name. Gavin wouldn't let it stand if he didn't.
He does have an awesome visual. Like, I guess, is his stomach stitched? It kind of looks like it is.
I think he's just wearing a weight belt.
Or is it a giant belt? His nickname should be Anus Mouth.
Anus Mouth.
I went health book on it. I tried to be, respectable with the Anus Mouth. The little wise guys, though, they're out snooping around in Chicago. And the first thing that happens in their first appearance is they get kidnapped by Vicious Circle thugs. So, yeah, these guys, I knew they were goners.
So you get, for the characters, the one with the big V head is Victorious.
Awesome.
You get Pucker, you get Iron Jaw, who's made a few appearances since, and another guy, Tech Head, which he looks kind of cool too, like the green kind of robot-looking guy.
Tech Head is on, I see his knees.
He doesn't show up till, I think the second to the last page or third to the last page. You see him in a panel, but he's creeping up behind Daredevil. He's like a green guy with all sorts of weird metal things.
Yeah, he's got a great look.
But yeah, it's a cool thing that Erik can just, design these cool characters that only show up for, 2 panels in the background. And it's like, it's just amazing. You know what I mean? Like, he just designs awesome characters and they're so throwaway.
He's got characters to spare.
He sure does. Hopefully we start to see more of them in the future.
I think that if you're setting up for a book where it's Malcolm versus Chicago, I mean, you're really setting up for a Batman style thing.
Right.
Where you got your one hero and then he's got a rogues gallery.
Well, and that's what Larsen's been saying now for a couple of months, is that this book's going into the Batman Beyond phase. And he says it's going to be Malcolm and a mentor. And he doesn't come out and say it's going to be Dragon as his mentor. So, I think it will be, but he's not
the
coming out. The
ghost of Dragon.
Yeah. But I think you're absolutely right, Raven. I think it's going to be, one guy versus a bunch of rogues.
And when you think about it, the origin of the book, talking about creating jump-on points, I mean, that's how Savage Dragon was when it started. I mean, he was Chicago's hope. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
Chicago kind of has a lot of hope these days. You know, a lot of and then they're losing it. They're all going to Washington. So
So that's the
Yeah.
first appearance of the Little Wise Guys. It's an okay issue.
Yeah, not
Pretty
bad.
fun. Got some good appearances. I mean, the being Dart's big return was probably the cooler part of the issue.
you didn't like the fact that behind Scarecrow on the wall it said Gavin Higginbotham, but just
Oh,
barely.
yeah, I forgot that was this issue.
Was it where?
Look at the one where it's like the Little Wise Guys and like there's a panel with a dude that looks kind of like Hellboy's old like grandpa.
Okay.
It's
Oh, Gavin Higginbotham. Yep, it's
Yeah.
scratching to the wall.
there you go. See, Gavin, get out of Chicago. Jeez, graffiti is a crime, man. That was a good issue and a hell of a jump on point.
Yeah, because that's what this was. This was being the free comic book day issue was supposed to be a big jumping on issue for new readers.
Now, Craig,
Yeah.
does the free version have the A3 backup?
No,
I doubt it.
Nope.
It does.
No, it doesn't, and it wouldn't make sense to have it in there because if you're getting a free issue and it's like your only issue,
Right.
or it's your first issue, I think it just confuses people. It's
Does-
got the Daredevil kind of write up, like
It does have that.
yeah,
Okay, I was gonna ask.
And does it have the Charles Atlas ad on the back?
yeah.
That ad is live. If you want to gamble a stamp, he'll make a man out of you still.
He will.
That is live.
He'll send you like a giant rubber band to like tug on.
That's
to
it. That's
build
how
your
you.
biceps.
So
That's
you
how
won't
you.
get the dirt kicked on you at the beach anymore?
You know that hasn't happened to me since Charles Atlas made a man out of me.
My friend gave me an awesome hardcover book, and I can't remember the name of it now. I have it somewhere. I can run and get it, but it's got all the mail-in like comic book ad stuff from like the 70s and stuff like that, and like what you really got. It shows you the ad, and then it shows you what really came in. Like life-size submarine, and then you get it. And it's like a cardboard box.
That's awesome. There was a Fat Albert episode about that. About the dangers. You know how old cartoons had morals?
Yeah.
The moral of that episode was the dangers of getting lured in by fake comic book ads. Because the Fat Albert kids, they were like, "We gotta get the bike," and then they got it. It was like a toy bike. It fell apart or something. It was that's hilarious. Yeah, man. Find the
Yeah.
name of that hardcover. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I'll look it up. Maybe I'll mention it on the next episode or something like that. But I have it sitting in my house somewhere. But I've looked that book over 3 or 4 times. It's a really fun book.
And damn it, that was the first appearance and the last appearance of the Little Wise Guys.
Good riddance. Sorry,
Good
guys.
riddance.
I don't like them.
I
I'm
think
glad they're gone.
I wanted him to die, and I guess that's screwed up. But like the minute I saw him, I was like, "Oh yeah, these guys are gonna get killed." That's
Hold on
not.
a second. Hold on a second.
Holding on.
Not as a. This is issue 148, and they died in issue 188. They're around for exactly 40 issues.
Yep.
I find that funny.
Just as long as Abraham from Walking Dead. And when he died, I felt like he was barely around either. And then you're like, whoa, he was in the comic for 40 issues.
Yeah, that's a ton of issues.
It is.
That is
It
a lot. That's like a third of the series.
That's like 5 years.
And when they died, we didn't care. That's so sad.
I don't think it's that we don't care. We didn't care.
No,
It's
I
just
don't
care.
I'm just kidding. I cared. No, I didn't.
I think what's sad is that I wanted him to die. That's what's sad.
I just didn't like the characters. I thought they were kind of awkward in the book.
Yeah, I agree that they did sometimes feel awkward, and their role is a bit odd. But but I sort of got what Erik was going for. And I personally was waiting until they would make that misstep and basically get their heads chopped off, because the world of Savage Dragon is a rough place.
Right.
And you just sort of expect that thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's the episode. So do either of you guys remember what the solicitation for the next issue is?
Why, I happen to know exactly what it says.
Oh.
Allow me if I may, Jim.
Have at it, Raven.
Savage Dragon 189. So cheesy. I love it. The countdown to the single biggest change in Savage Dragon history starts here. The dragon is in jail. But is he locked up with his greatest enemies, or are they locked up with him? Find out in the cage.
And this is the issue with Mako on the cover, right?
No, this is the issue where the logo is kind of like diagonal in the middle of the cover, and it's like the shadow of the prisoners on the top, and like dragon kind of in the corner of the book looking up, and everyone's in their like orange prison jumpsuits.
Well, this one feels like it's going to be a dragon-centric issue, so
I think this next one's going to be awesome.
Dragon fans should be stoked.
I'm just stoked to read some dragon in prison fight comics. It just seems, we went all those issues of him being a cop, and it just seems like it just building up to now him being in the prison.
Well, the next 3 issues seem like they're going to be pretty focused on dragon in prison, with this one, and the next issue's got the Mako fight, and then the third one's the electric chair. So the next 3 seem to be primarily focused around that. You
think this is like Dragon's big blowout before like the book really turns over to Malcolm?
Oh, yeah. I got pretty good money that that's sort of what's building. Whether or not Dragon actually dies or not is the big question. But I'm pretty sure that the handover for real this time is going to be 193.
Yeah, because it seems like, it was kind of handed over, but it's been more like, 2 issues Malcolm, an issue Dragon.
Yeah.
2 issues Dragon, an issue Malcolm. And it seems like, from everything I've heard now, it's, and from all the solicitations, is that we're going to have this big Dragon-centric blowout, and then it's almost going to be, like, rebooted.
Yeah. I'm curious if, I think a lot of us have our doubts that Dragon's going to bite it, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of ways out that wouldn't be retreads.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he could get beamed back to space, but we've already done Space Dragon.
What I'm thinking
Erik's on record saying that Dragon just can't walk out because Stronghold Penitentiary is designed for guys like him, so it's not like he can say, oh, wait, fuck this, and go out the nearest wall.
I'm wondering if, he's saying, oh, this is going to be the Batman Beyond phase, if he, like, almost literally means that in a way, like where Malcolm and Dragon are in hiding or something, and, maybe Dragon gets beamed out and he's in hiding. He doesn't go in space, but they have some kind of hidden lair or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's a good, what's great, even Overlord being out there, Teenage Overlord, that's another potential mentor.
Not Overlord, the other one.
Oh my goodness, yep, I screwed it up. Not Overlord, Dark Lord.
Dark Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he came to Earth first, so who knows where he is right now.
So potentially, there's another mentor. So I like you guys feel like the book was handed over to Malcolm, then it was kind of handed right back. And it was like, well, okay, I'm okay with that. There were still things to be said with Savage Dragon. But, I'm looking forward to whatever happens.
Right.
And I have no clue what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm at a loss how it's going to shake out. I got no notions.
No clues. But I bet there's going to be fights.
Oh, yeah. There'll be guys punching people in the head. We know that much.
And death.
And death.
Oh, sure. Someone will die in the next 3 issues. Guaranteed.
No more giants, though. I'm kind of done with giants for a little while.
No giants?
Yeah, I'm done with, like, giant claws and giant Bin Ladens and giant all gods. Let's give the giants a rest in Savage Dragon for a little bit.
I don't think even Rita got knocked out, so you might have gotten your wish. She's got a concussion. No more giants.
Am I coming off as kind of grumpy this episode?
Eh.
I feel like I am.
The
It's a lack of
Jade
sleep for the readers. I really did enjoy this issue 188 though.
Yeah. It's a good issue.
It
So
rocked.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done.
So I'm done. You cut me off. I'm not going to talk.
Got it.
I was just gonna remind the listeners, send us your question, comments, suggestions, enter the trivia at savagefincast@gmail.com. You have something you want us to talk about or address that we haven't, or anything, just send us an email, savagefincast@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Cool. Good episode.
See you next time.
Talk to you later.
See ya.
The Savage FINcast is a part of the Gutter Trash Network and the Image Addiction family of podcasts. It can be found at either fincast.guttertrash.net or imageaddiction.net.